Your head. Okay. Here's my audience. Hi, everybody. My name is Ashley Hugany, and I'm here to talk to you about the effects of BPAs found on thermal paper. Recently, it's been brought to public attention that the toxic amount of BPA found in water bottles are causing a lot of health issues. But did you know that on a single thermal paper receipt given at most stores contains on average 250 to 1,000 times the amount of BPAs that's found in a heated water bottle? I am just one of many consumers who comes in contact with products containing BPA on a daily basis. And there has been little information made public to us on the hazards of the chemicals until recently. By this speech, I hope to raise awareness on the effects of BPAs, as well as explain how to avoid related exposure. This will allow for you to protect yourself as consumers against these hazardous chemicals. Receipts containing BPAs put consumers and retail employees at risk for cancers, as well as many other health issues. Through education, awareness, and research, this unnecessary health hazard can be avoided. Throughout this speech, I'm going to explain the hazard of BPAs, describe how to avoid high amounts of BPAs found on store receipts, and discuss the alternatives that could one day make us all healthier consumers. So what are BPAs? BPAs stand for bisphenol A. BPA is an industrial chemical that has been used to make certain plastics and resins since the 1960s. This information has been found on mayoclinic.org. About 8 billion pounds of BPA are produced each year, making it one of the highest volume chemicals produced. This is found at the state of Minnesota's health site. So how do we get exposures to BPAs? Well, there are two ways. The first way is oral. That's done by the BPA moving from your receipts onto your fingers, then onto the food and into the mouth. Second is dermal. This is when BPA is directly absorbed through the skin. Once BPAs are absorbed into your bodies, they are an endocrine disrupting chemical which mimics estrogen in the human body. This is hazardous because of the following effects. Physiological is different cancers, including breast and reproductive system cancers that have been linked to BPAs, abnormal reproductive system development, obesity, diabetes, early puberty, asthma, and cardiovascular system disorders. Psychological, there have been diminished intellectual capacity linked to individuals with high consumption of BPA, as well as behavioral abnormalities in children. Finally, genetic and epigenetic changes, meaning alterations in the way that genes switch on and off, and genetic changes which can be passed on to next generations. Common sources of BPAs are polycarbonate plastics, which are any plastic that is clear, rigid, and shatterproof, such as plastic bottles and storage containers, such as this. Epoxy resins, which are used in industrial adhesives and high-performance coatings. Epoxy coatings lines most of the 131 billion food and beverage cans made in the U.S. annually. So these include food cans, bottle tops, and water supply lines. Finally, thermal paper. Thermal paper is paper that is printed on registers found at most major department stores and food franchises, such as receipts. While the dangers of BPA found on receipts pose a health risk to consumers and retail employees, the following are ways to avoid exposure. We can minimize thermal paper receipt collection by declining receipts from stores that use thermal paper, and we can choose a variety of different methods, including handwritten and e-receipts, when the option is available. We can take precautions against BPA dermal contact by making sure to wash your hands after touching receipts on thermal paper, especially before we prepare or eat food. However, it's important to state that you should never use alcohol sanitizers because this greatly increases our body's exposure to BPA absorbency. Finally, if you're unsure, perform the coin test. You do this by rubbing this paper with a coin. If the paper comes out with a different color, then you know that there's BPA coating on the receipt. You can also make sure that you're not passing along the exposure of BPAs to others. You can do this by avoiding recycling your paper with other things because that contaminates it, never giving thermal paper to a child, and alerting others of the dangers of BPAs, especially retail employees because they have been found to have 30% more BPA in their system. And never heat plastics because this releases the BPA at an alarming absorption rate. In conclusion, I shared valuable information on BPAs with you, what they are and the effect of exposure, as well as the hazards that come with exposure. I also provided information on how to avoid BPA in your life as a consumer. I hope you take the time to consider the information I've shared and pass it on to your family members, friends, and loved ones.